Welcome to the review of the Apple iPad mini with Retina display. They came out almost 2 weeks ago, and nobody knew exactly when they will come. Everybody thought, okay, end of November, so that would have been now. But Apple surprised us, and one day they just had them in store after they announced them at the same time as the Apple iPad Air. So the brand new mini has, of course, the same looks from the outside. It has also the same name, but it has now the Retina display, so it means 1536 pixels times 2048 pixels, or the other way around, so the longer side has of course more pixels, so it doubled the numbers of these little dots, color dots, and it's now really Retina and quite sharp. Apple is not the only company that has done that. We have other companies like Samsung that have been producing full HD tablets in small forms, or even Google with the Nexus 7 this year with full HD on 7-inch. But here is, for example, Amazon with the HDX 8.9, which is not 7.9 inch but 8.9 inch, and this one has 2560 times 1440, I think, pixel. And let's just compare them in size really quick, since I have both iPad minis here. So let's just compare black with black, and you can see that it's of course bigger, but in terms of thickness and size, of course, they are, or not of course, but they're about the same, and the Amazon feels actually really quite cool, even though it's plastic. You can just check out my full review soon about that. It's quite a nice device, but let's just stay focused here on the iPads, and before we begin with the software and a little bit more about the hardware, let's also see, compared to the old Apple iPad, you could say Apple iPad 3 or 4, since they had the same dimensions, and we will just look at how the 9.7 inch versus 7.9 inch looks like. First of all, turned off. So you can see there's quite a big difference, and if I turn the displays on both, you can also see here, let's just unlock them, go here to the close, okay, front page, slide to unlock, this turned it off. Slide to unlock. You can see here that of course the size, let's go a little bit more further back, in size the Apple iPad mini is just a lot better. Just keep in your hands. It's light, small, and really fun to use. If you want to see a comparison with the Apple iPad Air, I have the iPad Air, or had both colors of the iPad Air, in a full review about a week ago, so check it out on my channel, and if you're there already, just subscribe. Also, I had to bring them back though, like I will do with the Apple iPad mini, but I will actually buy one for myself here of the silver white one, or just the silver one, since it's really amazingly light. 330 grams. It's a few grams heavier than the old one, but actually the battery still has 10 to 12 hours, and that's real. Just look at the battery life here up on top. 24% what we have right now, about 30% of brightness, and at the end of the video, which should be about 15 minutes long, or will be, you will have about 1 or 2% of dropping. And I have been using these for 2 weeks now, and the black one is the one I actually have almost never turned on. That's only for the colors here on my table for testing, and we have 81% of battery life, and I have never charged it, like I never charged the white one actually, but I have used that one a little bit for gaming and benchmarking and things like that. So that's quite amazing also in standby runtime. So if I hold it like this, you can see here the full 16 apps that came with Apple. Also here in the bottom, these, all of them except for Chrome, I put it there. So usually there's only just 4 apps here on the bottom, but you can see I can put in Chrome, for example, and even another one has space here, so up to 6 apps in the bottom row. A 7th one is not allowed. So let me just, come on, bring that out again there, and yeah, let's just open up, for example, the browser, so you guys can see here. For example, I'm reading my American colleagues from Polygon, where we have just short little news here, and where you can also see already that the text is really looking quite good. I can zoom in since it's a responsive side, but I guess I have here a non-responsive side. Yes, like for example a German news site, kind of like the New York Times. And here you can really zoom in, and it doesn't matter how much you zoom in, it really looks amazingly sharp. And that's why Retina is kind of cool, since you can just really look at anything and have fun checking content out. Also, when it's just this small, you can just really get it up really big in here, and then you can read everything. I know it's in German right now, but still quite good. You can see that sometimes it's a little bit slow, even though we have the latest processors and everything inside, but there's really a lot of pictures here, some flash going on the side. I think it's jumping always down here with the advertisement, and that's maybe probably the reason. But actually I have been experiencing a little bit of slowness of the device, so you guys can see this is of course a cool animation to close the things, but when I do the four-finger swipe up, you will see that closing some apps or just doing something with some apps seems kind of slow. So let me just close up everything and let's start from the beginning. You're able to see before I had the Photos app open, since I just wanted to show a little bit how the camera looks like, but I actually have only screenshots of benchmarks, but I also have a low light video in a club, which is of course up online in full resolution and everything on YouTube, so you guys can check it out there also. But here you guys can also see that this is looking quite good. And that reminds me, I haven't even shown you guys around the device. So we have here the 5-megapixel cam, which shoots full HD videos. I have a really bit dirty back cover right now, since I have sweaty hands. That's how it would look like, but of course I usually clean it up. Beautiful little Apple logo, which is actually completely working like a mirror, like it is on also the black one, but there's a little bit darker there. New iPad font on the left side, there's nothing, so it's perfectly for holding in your left hand. Lightning port on the bottom. In the box, as always, there's not much except for a 10 watt charger, little papers, and also the lightning cable. So nothing special there, no headphones, anything like that, but just check out my unboxing video. Then we have here the volume control, also display rotation lock or volume mute, and also the on and off switch, which you barely need, since you of course have the on here on the bottom part, the home button, but for turning it off, that's of course mandatory. Otherwise, not only one microphone, but two. Also in the for LTE version, but there is of course a little bit of a plastic part here, and the headphone port, which also almost didn't fit in here since the device is so slim. But yeah, it really is amazingly good to hold. 330 grams, feel really amazing. The black one feels even maybe lighter for some people, but that's only because of the optics. It feels also smaller, since it has around the black display this black front cover. But as I said, I've been using the white one mainly. If you unlock it, it continues to show us this little video, which I can somehow pause. I have no clue how. I think I have to rotate it. How do I? Up here. So of course we still have the standard Apple features, like for example we can trim a video like this. Come on. Say trim, or we can say just play that part, and then we can cut it. And there's all kinds of free apps also that come now with iOS 7, like all the Office apps, but you can choose to download them because they need some space. And since I only have the 16 gig version here, there's up to 128 gigabytes available, but if you have the 16 gig version, the whole Office package will take about 1.5–2 gigabytes if you really want to use that. So for a lot of people that's too much if they, for example, want to play games or do other things that are more fun. So as you can see, I have some benchmarks on here, but I think really playing a game is the real benchmark for you guys right now. So how will this look like? This is, for example, a Hunger Games 3 to play game, which is based on the idea of Temple Run. I don't want to log in here. Come on, cancel. And let's learn the basics again. And yes, so you can see a little bit of the really nice graphics, that it's sometimes a little bit laggy, but I think that's only because of the bad developers here. And this is a really new game, so you can't actually really blame them for that. But it's a really fun game to play, even though these are only tutorials. And you can also see the display is really stunningly good. Also looking at it from the side, you can't see anything bad here, I would say. What I'm always missing with most of these devices is, for example, a microSD slot by Apple just refuses to do that, which is a little bit sad. But would be nice to just have more space available. Oops, it's a kind of hard game if you have to also keep a hand open. But I will soon just cancel the game here, and then we can just continue with other software features that are mainly iOS 7 features, but you still want to see if they probably work here on the Apple iPad mini, since it's of course still no iPhone. So as you can see, really quite cool game, but I think it's enough, so let me just die. Here we go. Oh, okay, was able to break something, but let's just die here and close up the game like that, or as you have been able to see before, just with the 5-finger close routine. So let's check out, for example, the Safari browser. It looks of course a little bit different, but in the Safari browser things work, for example, like, okay, I don't like to hold it like this here on the side. It doesn't feel that good. It's still a big tablet, so I just hold it like that. No problem at all. You can still use the whole website, as you can see, go up and down. Sometimes it really sees the finger, but not always. So for example, now it's a little bit better, and I can still do multitouch gestures and just check out the contents. Also, the same thing works when you have open other things, like, okay, I have photos. I don't want to trim anymore, so I have some pictures. I really like to hold my tablet like this, and I still want to look at other pictures, so the second finger should not be a problem. Sometimes it is, as you can see, so Apple has to work out the kinks, but if I have it just off, have my finger on here, I guess this works a little bit better. Yes, there we go. So yeah, just make sure to not always lift up your finger, and then yeah, things like this will happen. What's also kind of cool is if you still have Siri inside. So with double tapping you get this, but I think with the long tap, I think that's Siri. The weather in Munich. Sorry guys, I've put Siri in German mode. That's of course not great for you guys. It should have guessed it when it asked me what I want to ask. So let's just put here English United States. You can actually see the whole list of countries that are still supported by Siri. They haven't added any. It's kind of sad for me, since I know also Hungarian would be kind of cool, but it's only 10 million people, so it's probably not worth it to develop. The weather in Munich.
Here's the forecast for Munich, Germany between today and Sunday.
Apple stocks.
Apple is up $6.55 today, or 1.25% to $530.29.
Damn, that's still a lot. But as you can see, it still works. But what I actually love the most about Apple and the iPads and this little Siri feature is you can really, as you can already see here in my notes, in German, but you can just switch the language here. It's on the bottom. Okay, I have Hungarian. We don't have Siri there. But for English, I can just say, okay, I want to tell my tablet that it should write down text, like, for example, "Hi, how are you doing? Stop. My name is Tom. Stop. I'm from Munich and I would like to have a drink. Stop." Okay, with stop it always wrote stop, but otherwise, "Hi, how are you doing? My name is Tom and I'm from the weekend. I would like to have a drink." Okay, not perfect yet, but as you can see, it's still faster than just typing on the bottom here. And I guess that always also works with other things, like, for example, if I open up a browser, it can be probably also Chrome, doesn't have to be Safari. Let me just open up a new page here, hit that button, and you can see here on the bottom there's also this little microphone icon, so I can just hit that and say NewYorkTimes.com. There we go. Bam, and there it is. kind of cool. Don't have to type anything. Of course, it looks kind of silly when you sit in a subway or the metro in some other countries, or in your airplane. Actually, in the airplane, it doesn't even work since we need a working internet connection. But otherwise, really cool feature, especially if I figure out how to end a sentence. You can do semicolons, colons. It's not dot at the end. What's it? What? Anyhow, so it works quite good, as you can see, and one of my favorite features here. But of course, camera, also quite important. You have seen low light pictures, but how does it look like when you just take a picture? So you can see it's not that wide angle. The box is quite far away, but it's still quite big in the picture. Also, when you go here to the video, it's getting even closer. And when you go to the square feature, of course, you have the possibility to just flip it any way you want. Doesn't matter. It's kind of like Instagram. There is no landscape and portrait picture. But what I like about the video, or the video feature a little bit better than with the photo, is of course it's a little bit smoother when you just move it like this. I don't know if you have seen a difference, but it's really quite good. And you can of course flip the screen as always, and if I go back to the photo mode, you will see that it's really sharp. You can also see a read here, maybe even from my camera, what lens I have on. You can see the details on my hair. I could actually fix my hair a little bit to look later a little bit nicer when I go out, and otherwise really still amazingly good quality here from Apple. What else is there to show? The benchmarks, of course, not that important, but I guess we are all through, since iOS 7 is, of course, a great operating system, but there is still others out there. Also, I can do a little bit more of a comparison, like for example the Asus Nexus from the last year, or Google Nexus 7 from the last year had this size, and this is now a different tablet here, the phone pad by Asus. You can see here the size is 7-inch to 7.9-inch. A little bit bigger here, the Apple iPad, but not much. If I put them on top of each other, you can see especially the difference. Like for example in height, it's almost nothing, but here on the side, that's exactly like one finger. I've already shown you the big iPad, but for example, how about big phones? So there's 6-inch smartphones out there now, like the HTC One Max or the Nokia Lumia 1520 or something like that. There's really now a big demand for that, not to buy a tablet, just a big smartphone. And as you can see, still it's a big device, but the HTC phone, but the iPad is of course still better for working, to get a keyboard for it, to do other things, and so on and so on. And compared to little iPhone, which still only has 4 inches, it's still a humongous device. So till next time, peace and again. This was a full review, I hope, for you guys of the 2 Apple iPads here in black and white. Both Retina, beautiful devices. Can totally tell you guys to buy it, especially Black Friday coming up, and a lot of deals that will be in the future. I try to keep it clean, as you can see. As I said, sweaty hands, but otherwise beautiful devices, and can totally tell you guys to buy it, especially comparing to Amazon with the same price point for a bigger device. Still light and slim and everything, but I think Apple still has the crown in the app sphere. So just get an iPad mini Retina. It's totally worth it, and I will get one too.